I'm sure many of you know by now, but when I was a child, I was one of the world's top junior magicians. I was able to make cards disappear and reappear inside of an audience member's asshole if I wanted to. It was like some shit out of Now You See Me, but if every character was prepubescent. Much like Penn and Teller, I was able to pick up on how magic tricks were done just by watching them, and I used to pride myself on this. And it pains me, and it would absolutely disgust younger version of Charlie to say this, but recently, I was fooled. You see, 2 months ago, I made a video talking about a news story that was sweeping the internet, something huge. It was a fucking plague going across all of the major news articles. It was a story about how hackers took control of our penises. The story was believable, albeit terrifying. The one thing we thought we could trust, male chastity cages, penis prisons, had finally been infiltrated and taken over by an evil organization looking to hold our wieners hostage for money. Finally, the world had been introduced to its supervillain, its final boss, its Galactus, the penis pirate. He who controls the cock controls the world. We were met with an ultimate evil, the boogeyman of boners. All we could do was stare into the abyss as it stared back into us. The chastity cage story said that there was no failsafe and the only way to break it off was either to pay the ransom or get a screwdriver and just go to town on your meat. It was horrifying. If only it were true. You see, this story was run by multiple publications, big ones, such as Vice, Motherboard, other huge outlets, had all been running this story for the day that I talked about it. And then yesterday, it turns out the story was a complete lie, a joke from a friend of mine named Lewis Spears. He's a YouTuber as well as stand-up comedian who came up with the idea of making a outlandish, crazy story get picked up by Vice. And it did get picked up by Vice and multiple other outlets. I recommend you watch his video to get the full scoop on what was going on here. But yeah, in a nutshell, I was bamboozled. I got fucking schmeckeldorfed. It never occurred to me that these publications would just take, like, mystery strangers' words on things as fact. I thought, like, an outlet, a journalist, would be, like, doing some kind of due diligence to confirm the events in their stories as somewhat true. But basically it boiled down to them just saying, "Are you sure this is real?" And Lewis saying, "Yeah, this is real." Like, that's basically the whole fucking nuts and bolts of it. There's not a whole lot more that goes into journalism advice and the other publications, it seems. This is akin to the little button you click saying, "I am not a robot." Or like when you enter a porn site, "I am 18. True?" True. Like, there was almost no effort to make sure that the story was completely bulletproof, true. Like, it's crazy. Like, actually shocking. Great job from Lewis Spears, though. Like, it is wonderful, and the story is fantastic, which is why I talked about it, because it's a great fucking story. And it really is kind of in that, like, Black Mirror realm of being, like, almost viable, like something real. Like, all of these male chastity cages and shit all have Wi-Fi and apps. Like, potentially you could hack them, I suppose. And what's great is it wasn't just the Vice and the other outlets. The actual company who Lewis Spears name dropped for it were saying that there was some kind of vulnerability in their system that led to this. So then they had to come up with the screwdriver solution where you like fucking put the screwdriver in your urethra and you twist that bad boy around, which pops the lock off or whatever the fuck the solution was dumb. After coming up with that, they also said they fixed a vulnerability in their system that allowed hackers to do this. So they fully thought that their shit was getting hacked, even though it never was. And then they improved their security as a result of Lewis Spears' joke. It's actually a fucking wild ride. And I just cannot believe how easy, well, I guess maybe easy is not the right word, because clearly a decent bit of work went into it, but I just can't believe how it worked so well. What this has taught me mainly is that Lewis Spears could be anywhere. He could be under your bed right now. Lewis Spears, he's a fucking force of nature, it seems. This is like the 20th time he's like been on news outlets and shit, usually to promote his stand-up comedy. Like, it's impressive how he's constantly able to weasel his way in there and get these things picked up. So, I mean, great work to Lewis. The story is still a great little piece of fanfic now, and I think it's absolutely priceless how silly Vice and all the other publications that just seems to have plagiarized Vice's article must feel. Like, they look really fucking dumb right now for this. And that's something pretty special, I suppose. But anyway, that's about it. Just wanted to talk about it and let you all know that, yep, I fucking fell hook, line, and sinker into one of Lewis Spears's master plans. And I feel real silly for it now. That's about it. See ya.